Welcome to Chronopassion Paris. Did you know that store, when it opened 36 years ago, was a solely Gérald Genta store? After that, more than 35 years have come across. Stories have been unfolded. The first AP store, the first Hublot store, now the first MADLAB store. Panerai was imported here. Breguet and Vandenab was sold in thousands of pieces. So come along and let's hear the full story. So clearly, I'm a bit biased because he's my dad. But for the last 36 years, you've been described as a man with flair. You've opened Chronopassion as a standalone Gérald Genta flagship, and then you brought on different brands. You were probably the bestseller for Reine de Naples with Breguet pieces. You clearly imported Panerai to the French market, but not just them.
I mean, it was always the question about, it's interesting. I started to carry Panerai before Richemont bought the company. And we were just with the L'Horlogerie Suisse in Florence and us. So, of course, it was different, but it was already like a big step for me. And for a lot of independents, I was at the beginning of the story. So it was like Renaissance. The first day I saw Benoit, I said, okay, it's fantastic. We have to do something. Same story with Mother. When the Milan family bought the company, right away I was on the spot on the Basel Fair, and we play with the really, really first concept piece. So HYT, beginning of the story. When Bulgaria introduced the Octo, I was here. So this is always I'm always aware to what's going on. And if I like the brand and the pieces.
But how can you define, or can you explain this flair? How do you feel like?
Difficult to say.
Is it a gut feeling?
No, I think probably my feeling is shared with the customers. I mean, I don't have a recipe. I love it or not.
So the flair is more the gut feeling. And
yeah.
Right now, obviously, you're mentioning some of the brands that you carry here at Chronopassion. You've been carrying and nurturing the selection of the store. But what we haven't talked about is, yes, Gérald Genta designed the first Chronopassion all the way to even the furniture. Now you've redone and revamped Chronopassion to a modernized version. But right next door, 10 years after the opening of Chronopassion, you opened the first AP store in Europe for 10 years.
Yeah.
Then you opened the first Hublot store worldwide before LVMH bought the brand. And just recently, you opened the first MB&F MADLAB here in Europe after, obviously, the flagship in Geneva. This is flair. You celebrate 10 years of Chronopassion, and what happens? You decide to open an AP store.
Every time it was a contest of circumstances. When François Benamias was just in the AP company for maybe a year. They come to me with Steve Urquhart at that time, and they said, okay, we want to open a monobrand store. It was the beginning of the monobrand store. And I said, okay, let me catch the store just on the next door. If I can have it, we will do that with pleasure. And so we start 1997 to 2007. It was a fantastic adventure.
Especially following the creator of Gérald Genta and all his DNA that was into Chronopassion. It just made sense to have it next door.
Right. And you have also to consider that there is a lot of people that they know we own the two stores, and there is some people that they come on the monobrand store and after they ring the bell again because they don't realize, because this is totally separate, even if you can communicate and go.
And there's a passage in between the two.
And after 10 years, AP want to open his own shop. Okay. And it was the time, I got a year in front of me. And it was the time that Jean-Claude Biver was starting in 2006 to handle the Hublot company. And
with the launch of the Big Bang and the whole...
Yeah, and every retailer from the whole world was like, okay, we're ready. And lately, during the year, I start to speak with Jean-Claude. And at one moment he said, "Oh, but you want to open a store, but we don't have the products." I said, "Okay, we can try." And finally, he came in September 2006, and we opened January 7. It was 15 years of monobrand store with Hublot. Was fantastic. Of course, the beginning was a little more crazy. You know, the first 6 or 7 years, the dynamic of the company was amazing. And after 15 years, I said, okay, maybe we have to do another challenge. And Max showed me the concept of the merchandising of the brand, because they didn't have the time since the really beginning to work on it. And it just showed me some drawing, some 3D pictures. And I say, okay, what do you think? I say, I want to open a lab right away.
The same way that when he came to you 10 years before, 15 years before, with the drawings of the watches, you wanted them.
It was not that.
But he didn't have this.
I met Max 32 years ago, when he was just coming to Gégé-le-Coul. We spent an afternoon over there. I mean, we speak about the whole industry. And my first feeling with Max was, wow, this gentleman is different. You know, he got something. And after I followed him with the I. Winston story, of course, every year I come to see him to say, okay, I want to carry Winston because I want to get the Opus. And every year it's not possible, and you won't be able to sell the rest. Finally, one day I say, okay, now it's stop to joke with me. I'm really decide. And finally he said, okay, just wait a little. 6 months later, I just discovered one morning that he quit. So I called him and I said, what are you doing? He said, okay, I will do my own way now with MB&F. I said, okay, I want to carry the brand. He said, but you didn't see even a single piece. I said, oh, I don't have to. I know what you are able to do. Well, okay, this is not planned. Well, finally, we sold the first MB&F HM1 from the beginning of the story in this shop.
And 15 years later, you've got his first store.
Yeah, and he told me the same answer. Oh, but this is not planned. Max, please. And finally, we opened this fantastic lab, which is a fantastic success. The brand, of course, now is a big success. The demand is like crazy. But year after year, the genius Max make us every time amazed by what he's able to do.
I mean, clearly, at the end of the day, if we go back to the definition of what is it and how do you get this flair, it's mostly a gut feeling and a personality creation and a friendship that you almost not nurtured from one year to another.
Probably, you know, which is true for many subjects. You know, I'm curious of a lot of stuff, if I can say stuff. But I mean, toys for adults. I mean, this is the same story with the motorbike, with cars, with clothes, shoes, electric guitars, whatever. So I'm always, you know, looking what's going on and analyze very quickly. I don't get the truth, but for the watchers, we can say that most of the time, people agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And I remember I was a kid and I was mesmerized when you came back with this Vanity Fair article where you were part of the top 8 retailers in the world. And yet you were very different from the others. So it's really hard for you to compare. You were mentioning Michael Tay and John Simonian and Marcus at the time.
Marcus, Pisa.
There's just so many who are now, not all of them are on this list. Many are, but still 36 later. And it's not a multi-generation, it's not a multi-family thing because I can be the next or not, but nobody can replace you.
I don't agree totally, but the thing is, you know, all the people you mentioned are fantastic. They did with a lot of courage and a lot of creativity, a fantastic company. I'm the smallest,
Sure,
but with a cool notoriety because my choice is out of the square, and this is.
and we're gonna get into this.
Oh.
in the next episode.
Okay.